Stitch number 14, satin stitch. I've started here by making a little shape. I've used 2 strands of embroidery floss, and I've just outlined a little bit of a oval shape here for me to fill in. When you're doing satin stitch, you want to mark the outside of your shape somehow, and for me the easiest way is to just simply outline the shape with a back stitch, and then I used 2 stitches there so that I tied a knot in the back, and then I just clipped one of the threads so that now that I have a single thread. I think that satin stitch is one of the hardest stitches to do. It's hard to get it to look consistent, it's hard to get it to lay smooth, it's hard for it to keep its shape. And so you'll want to practice a little bit on this before you do it on a final project, because it does take a little bit of practice. And what you're going to do is you're just going to go from one side to the other, and you're going to fill in and cover up that shape that you've outlined. And you simply go up and down, clear across that entire shape. And the outline helps you stay where you're supposed to be, as well as giving you some place as a guide to use. Now, 1 strand of embroidery floss takes a little while, but for the best effect, you're going to want to use 1 strand, just because it makes it so much smoother than if I was to use 6 strands. It would look like stripes, where this does look nice and satiny, therefore the name of satin stitch. So you continue to do this, and you can see that it kind of pulls it in a little bit. My shape is getting a little smaller. That's because I'm doing it on a wool background and it's a little bit stretchy. If I was doing this on a linen or a cotton, it probably wouldn't pull in like that. It would keep its original shape a little bit better. But this is how you do satin stitch. So it works well if you're just doing little small areas. So a little inside of a flower, maybe you want to do the body of a bee, maybe you want to do some little petals on a flower. It does work nice if it's a little bit more freeform rather than has to be an exact shape and size. Because like I said, this is one of the most difficult stitches to get it to end up looking nice and flat. And one thing that you can do if you aren't happy with the way it looks is you can go back and go across the shape the other direction. So I would do all the stitches this way, and then I would come back and go over it this way. And that makes it nice and thick and rounded so that it's kind of cupped as you do that. And I think that's all that I need to tell you about the satin stitch. It takes a little bit of practice, but you will get to where you'll be able to really whip it up nice and thick. And right here, just see how it looks like there's a space. When I do my next stitch, I'm going to come up on that spot that I missed and then do 1 stitch across to fill in that area where it looked blank. And that's how you fix those little spots. So see how it looks nice and flat now. Lots of little stitches going across, and that is the satin stitch.